equals MCU. Excuse me. And I wanted to go live real quick. I had to go live because there was a Agents of Shield Easter egg that I missed in Daredevil Born Again season 2 finale. And anytime I find the Agents of Shield anything, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna go live, or I'm gonna do a video, or I'm gonna post it, what have you. Um, Speaking of which, if anybody sees this, anybody has a suggestion for an app on your phone to where you can download videos, let me know. Because the previous one I have is junk, and the reason why I haven't been able to like make long form videos like I used to is because that app is no longer working or no longer doing what it used to do. Powers that be must have figured it out and kind of changed something. So I am on a search for that. But let's just talk real quick. Daredevil Born Again season 2. Let's just rap about everything that happened in that season. Um, and going back and watching it again, they're really building. I feel like Marvel's hitting their stride on the TV side. Um, I think they've kind of, I don't want to say they've figured it out, but they've had some slips along the way. They've had some trials, some errors. So hopefully they've got it figured out as to what they need to do with their TV characters and how they can balance their TV characters with the film storylines. And like me, shout out to Culture Filter. My man Phil he was saying in the comment section in one video that at one point it was too much. It was too much crossover, or it was just too many shows to try to keep up with. If you're a fan of the movies and everything, and I do agree with that. I do agree that especially 2021 there were 2021 and 2022 is kind of when they tanked the brand, and a lot of that was due to it being oversaturated, but a lot of that was also due to just what happened with the lockdown and with the sickness that was going around. So you have to remember in 2020 in 20 when Endgame came out in 2019, um they took a break. There's deservingly so. They gave everybody a year off before they went back into production. There were things that were supposed to come out in 2020 that did not, like Black Widow. um the TV shows were always going to be what they were going to be. That's where it kind of messed up with the Disney Plus launching in 2021. So you had, or 2020, so you had shows that were on deck. Like they had to get the Marvel shows out because they were a year behind. They didn't. Ideally, I think what they were going to do is have like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier come out in 2020. But because they chose to take a year off, they had worked so hard on Infinity War and Endgame. Feige gave everybody at Marvel Studios, he wanted to give them some break. I don't even know if it was a year, it may have been just like 6 months, but just taking that time off when they did before everything happened put them in the bind, because then when things hit the fan, they were then stuck. They had, it's going to freeze. Okay. Anyways, let me get to the point is that's when everything struggle, because then they had to squash it. You had four movies in one year, four shows in one year. I don't ever think that was ever supposed to be the case. And then in 2022, they kind of followed it up with the same, was it three movies, because they had the Spider-Man thing. So it's like you pretty much got like three movies and then like three or four shows. Maybe it was a little too much at the time. They were trying to do a lot and introducing a lot of new characters for the next part of the saga, and admittedly maybe they just rushed it and couldn't handle it. But um yeah, so anyways, Agents of Shield, I believe, is probably going to get announced at San Diego Comic-Con, to come back, just depending on, it's going to be it's a Brad Winderbaum thing. And like he said, I've talked about this many times. He's gone over it and said that he has rewatched all of the seasons, I don't know if the show itself is going to come back in that way, but iteration of the show or those characters are going to return to the MCU proper. So, with that being said, in Daredevil Born Again season 2 finale, we get the end credit, or not the end credits, but like the end of the show. We get the shot where BB Urich takes her Uncle Ben's office, and we get the return of the news editor, the head chief of the bulletin. I can't remember his name, but he was in Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3. We get the return of him. We get the return of that office, and we get the return of all of the things that Marvel TV set up. Like they had all of the things on the board that the bulletin had covered. And in one of those pictures, it talks about the Battle of New York and everything, but it talks about Cybertech settles. And anybody who's an Agents of Shield fan knows Cybertech is the company who created Deathlock from season 1 of Agents of Shield. And the fact that Marvel Studios and Marvel Television let that they I'm telling you, when they chose to bring back and canonize everything in the Netflix universe, there were a lot of things that were connected to that Netflix universe from the other Marvel TV shows. So essentially, it feels like they're canonizing all of Marvel TV that was made by Disney. I got to be clear because Fox had their own shows. I suspect that's all been canonized through the multiverse, but they're not going to be in the main 616 prior to the events of all this happening. So that's a good sign for Agents of Shield fans, because that, to me, that kind of leads me to believe that if they're leaving stuff like that up there, they're not taking it down, they're not taking it out. I don't think that they're just like not understanding or not knowing that those things are connected, and then just saying, "Oh, we didn't know," you know. But I think they were intentionally left in there. I think it's an Easter egg. I think it's a sign of things to come. I think Agents of Shield. I think we're gonna get LMD Coulson, you know, back, and then that way they can kind of explain, like, yeah, he really did die. They don't have to go to the Avengers and be like, well, no, he died, but he didn't. He came, but they don't have to do all that. It gets like he died. We made a life model decoy of him, and this is where we're at. And let's pick up and let's go from here. So let me know, man, if you're excited, if you care, if you don't care, if you think this is all just BS fanboying. But let me know down in the comment section how you feel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, peace.